Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and we're doing a sign for air, but you're coming up as Earth. So maybe some of you air signs have a placement in Virgo or Capricorn. I'm just picking this up in the energy. So what we're using today is the deck by, let me see, Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. It's a really old box. I've had it since 2014. Before we had the floods from one end of Australia to the other. So I went from one state that was flooding into another state that ended up flooding. So I'm kind of like a water person. I draw in water. I can play with the elements quite easily. I don't wash my clothes or soak my clothes very often because then we're going to have a storm. Or in worst case scenario, we'll have a flood. This is what I've noticed. And this is not just me talking out of my butt here. So I had this vision of, it was a flooding. There was the Pasha Volca in 2008, and that was huge. It was like a huge tsunami. And then I moved to Brisbane. Well, before I moved to Brisbane, I had a dream because I have future visions. I have premonitions, and it said, and I was talking to my then best girlfriend. I no longer speak to her, who's a water sign, and I said to her, "Do I go left or do I go right? Like if I go left, that's to Brisbane. Will it flood again? If I stay here right, will it flood again?" She goes, "Well, what does it matter? If you go, even if you move, it's still going to flood. It's still going to go into a flood." And it happened in 20. I was meant to move in 2011. That's when we had the huge flooding in Brisbane, where, Grantham went underwater, and there was all this flooding, and everything was wiped out. So it's like I took the water with me. Some people call that water witchcraft. I don't care what people think of me. I just tend to draw in. My main element to soothe and to relax is water. I find that's the best thing for me because I've got 3 water placements. So in saying that, the High Priestess, because I see myself as very spiritual, and I see things before they happen. Now the High Priestess is about trusting your intuition. You are careful reflection before taking action, insights that come through meditation. And meditation to me is getting outside, walking in nature, or swimming in the water, or doing breath work like Tai Chi, like walking, running, things like that. Connecting with nature helps to chill me out, so I'm not seeing things all the time, but I do see things all the time. I have no off switch anymore. Had several near-death experiences and came back with these huge awakenings. They call them awakenings, and so now they don't turn off. They're 24/7. I've started to wearing dark sunglasses so I don't see them, so I don't pay attention to them, and that way I don't get freaked out. So what I would put as a stone to enhance that intuition, which I need to minimise, not maximise, because we're in a full moon and it's Halloween exactly tonight, because Halloween hit yesterday for Australia, but in America we're in Halloween now, trick-or-treating and whatever else, but the moon is represented by the huge pumpkin. The pumpkin represents the moon, and the pumpkin is all about transformation and scaring away the nasties, scaring away the demons. This is why they make the jack-o'-lantern. So what I put here is a stone called lapis lazuli, which enhances intuition, and it's from Egypt. So you want to enhance your intuition, lapis. Now what it's saying is you're about to celebrate a birthday party with someone, and we're in the month of Scorpio, so you may have a little scorpion child that you're celebrating birthdays with. And in saying that, because you may have Scorpio in your chart, people are very magnetic right now. You may draw in things and people, places and things because you are so magnetic. Full moons usually bring in accidents, births, deaths, sudden shocking things. So this is the time with the full moon. Be very careful when you drive. Be very careful wherever you go. I recently picked a kid up off the side of the road who had an accident. Didn't have a kit. I didn't have a first aid kit. So I went out and bought one because it was 2 weeks in a row. I had one on the road. I helped. Then I had another one in front of me on a motorbike that slid past a car, and the 2 kids were on the bike. Thank God nothing was broken. But 2 weeks in a row, I had 2 accidents. I happened to be in the right place at the right time, if you want to say, or in my case, the wrong place at the wrong time. I didn't necessarily want to deal with that. That was very scary for me. But I had knowledge of first aid, so I just didn't have all the equipment on me, but now I do, so I'm all covered. Now in the past you've got the 7 of Pentacles. This is talking about a nest egg. Putting money in the bank and watching it grow. Having patience. Maybe you put some money aside because you knew that maybe you needed to move or you needed to have extra cash. you're wanting to watch your bank accounts grow. That's what that says to me. And we've got five of swords. This is to do with, so that's 7 years ago. You were trying to find your way and invest in your future is what it's saying. The Three of Cups means in the next 3 months, you're going to be celebrating something else, whether it be a birthday party or there's Christmas, isn't there? So in 3 months' time, we've got, well, it's less than 3 months. We've got Christmas and then we've got New Year's, and then we've got my son's birthday. He's in November the 11th. We've just come out of that. I've just had my son's other birthday, so I've had September, October, November has been birthday party month, and then we've got Christmas. In the past, you've got Five of Swords. This is like 5 people that are tried to stab you in the back. They may have been jealous of you. Oh, look, I don't know. It could be family, friends, or so-called family and so-called friends that actually had the swords in your back, and they were very jealous of you. It's saying not to trust people. These people are toxic and best to keep away. Next card I pulled, and this is why I've got the selenite, because I love selenite, because it enhances anything that it may touch. So I've got bloodstone. Bloodstone is all about health and attracting good health and protection from divine, from God. So I put that on the Hermit card because the Hermit card is all about, Virgo cards are all about health and well-being and looking at things and ingredient listings and being very analytical. Virgo people are very analytical of documents, ingredient listings, health, food, diet, exercise. That's Virgo. That was September. So you may be concentrating on that now. You may have Virgo heavily placed in your chart. The Hermit card is actually protecting the star. See the star? She's got a little lantern, and in that lantern is the star. So you, as a Virgo, you may be trying to protect this Aquarian that you may know that's a friend of yours, or somehow you know them. This Aquarian's probably quite honest and open and a little bit gullible. And you're trying to educate them on how to live their best life, but also how to guide their steps, mentor them on their path of spiritualism. The other day I walked past a international church, which is it's in Mayfield. I was behind going to drop some books off. I don't like Mayfield. I had a bad experience in Mayfield, so it triggers me. I don't like walking around in Mayfield at all. But I had to take the books back, and I had to get my son's voucher. So I was quick. I was quick 5 minutes. I was walking them back and getting in bus. So in that time frame, I walked past the international church, and there was a lady singing in Sanskrit. Now in Iran and Iraq, how they pray is not how we traditionally pray. They sing their prayer. And so when they're singing, they're actually saying a prayer. So it's saying you may be looking at other ways and other people's traditions and how and what you can take from them and what you can glean from them. I find it's interesting that they're singing their prayer. It's like a chant, but it's not. It's a song. They're singing their prayer into existence to protect the people in Gaza, Iran, and Iraq, and that's what I think they were there for. It was a huge, it was like around lunchtime. There was all these people there, and I heard the music, and I was really moved by it. It was just beautiful, beautiful meditational type of music. Is it the Bhagavad Gita? No, Bhagavad Gita. I think that's how you pronounce it. Talks about Indian traditions and talks about fairy tale. It's like a fairy tale, but it's like a traditional fairy tale that talks about how one war was won by singing and by praying and by doing prayer work rather than fighting. They fought the war with prayer, which is a nice way to fight. Okay, then we've got in the future, we've got the 10 of Swords. You may be deciding to cut off someone, someone who's codependent, that's leaning on you, and you may just feel suffocated by them. They may not mean to, they may be going through their own stuff, but it's saying you need to part ways. Maybe just spend less time with them is what I'm getting. Or you may feel like you are in a prison. You've got nowhere to run to, nowhere to go. You maybe feel like you're in a prison. 10 of Swords, like you hit rock bottom. The next card I pulled is the Wheel. I dreamt about this one night ago. I dreamt about hair. Now hair, for me, is gold. So remember in Rapunzel, and he spun hair into gold? The Wheel is talking about good luck and good fortune. So in 1 calendar year, for Aquarians, you will have everything turn around. Unexpected good luck. You may be traveling somewhere overseas, you have a new car, and you have wealth. because the wheel is 1, which is the beginning, which is next year, I'm guessing. So it won't be till next year before everything turns around. I put Citroen because Citroen attracts wealth. Citroen is about wealth. Then you've got here around you is a younger Virgo, Taurus or Capricorn around you, who's dependable, humorous, they're chivalrous, they're very analytical, they're cautious though, they don't jump all over things, they like to decide whether you're worthy of it, they're wise, but like the Virgo, they have meticulous attention to detail. So this could be talking about a Virgo because you've got the Hermit card crowning you. So this younger Virgo, there's a lot going on. He's the slowest prince in the zodiac. He's slow moving. He doesn't move quickly. He does slow movement. He's sitting on that leaf and he's floating down the stream. But see that big globe? That's his brain. That's his mind. It's illuminated. Is extremely bright, but he doesn't want to show that off. And he does want to put you through a few tests before he trusts you. I get that he doesn't trust many people because he has had no reason to trust people. People have betrayed him and let him down in the past. He may be an earth sign with air placement, which is very possible. I get military as well because he's got battle gear on. Then you've got around you, he may be the head of a church, like a spiritual leader. Like the Queen was the spiritual head of England. She was the Queen of England. He may be in that sort of role. Unity. Well, unity is to do with the church. The Hierophant is to do with what you hope and fear is that you'll get some hope from help, from praying or from asking for help from the church. Whether you go to church, whether you are spiritual and don't attend church but you work with spiritual groups. So you may do something like Lifeline, Meals on Wheels. You may volunteer with church groups, or you may receive free food from a church. Like they have things like the Baptist Care where they give out free food on it's a Tuesday and a Thursday for people that are underprivileged. And with a Centrelink card, that's what it's saying. Ask for help. Do the right thing for the right reason. Compare traditional versus new approaches to see which works for you. A spiritually minded community. And then we've got the Justice card, which talks about going to court. Some of you, air signs, may have to go to court. I don't know what for. Or maybe you're signing a contract, it could be a marriage certificate. It could be, a lease. You might be signing a new lease. But generally, because I pulled these other cards, I think it's a marriage, because I pulled the Commitment card in another deck. The Commitment card was in the Colette Baron Reid. It's called the Enchanted Map. It's one of my favourite decks. And I pulled the Commitment card, which reads, where did I put the book? Someone may be about to propose, and you don't even know it. It's kind of a shock. There we are, there's the card. I don't read these cards very often, so I'm going to read it from the book. Commitment is 36, which is a 9. Okay. Yeah, a true commitment. A responsibility of the heart, mind, body and soul. This is a good time to make one. It talks about partnerships formed at the time are harmonious and powerful. The Commitment card also indicates the natural evolution of a relationship from its inception to a literal or metaphorical marriage. At the very least, there is a promise of fulfillment in some form. However, you must be conscious of what you're committing to. Be clear about the nature of your commitment and your responsibility to it. Others are more willing to enter into partnerships at this time. Remember that your partnership with Spirit and the highest version of your own self will engage the highest self in another. Yeah, so it's saying that you've got to both be healed before you can get together. So you both have to go and do some counselling. Yeah, and then we've got Wide Open 42. 42 is... So I've been reading this book, and it's called From Here to the Great Unknown by Lisa Marie Presley and Riley Keough, and it talks about the king of pop, right? We're talking about royalty. The king was, of course, Elvis Presley. Now, she talks about her childhood as being quite wild and free, because Elvis would let her get away with blue murder, but the disciplinarian was Priscilla. And so it talks about how her parenting style is a little bit all over the shop because she's an Aquarian. I love the fact that she was an Aquarian. So Lisa Marie was on Facebook there for a while. I was chatting with her. because I used to watch this parenting Facebook profile thing, and I used to get on there quite a bit and watch what she used to say. And I happened to say that I was a psychic medium, and she said, "Oh, what do you see for my dad?" And I didn't know if it was actually Lisa Moretz, or it could be just some fake account. I went, "Well, actually, what I did see, I had a vision where he was playing with the wind. He was playing with the elements. Like I play with water, he plays with air, and he must have air in his chart. So he was running around doing whirlywinds. So whenever you see a whirlwind," I said to her, "know that that's him trying to contact you." And she smiled. Oh, she didn't smile. She laughed. She said, "That's so funny. Like, yeah, I do tend to come across things like that are kind of random and strange." I said, "Well, that's him trying to communicate with you." And in the front of the book, like in the acknowledgement section, she wrote a piece about Elvis plays with the wind, and I kind of went, "How cool!" So I've got an acknowledgement there, but it's it's not said it's from me, but she put it that he plays with the wind. But anyway, that's another story. So we've got Wide Open, and it says, okay, my Auntie Linda loves Elvis. That's what I'm talking about. All manner of opportunities are presented to you at this time. The Wide Open card is a signal that you're able to truly manifest your dreams and that your goals are in sight. Don't remain small and contracted. Instead, believe to be what you believe to be your limitations. You have a unique voice that needs to be expressed in this world. The universe is supportive of new ideas and approaches at this time, so speak up and speak out. This card is the sign of the maverick, as in Tom Cruise, who freely roams the wide open space, and they were part of Scientology, of possibility. Allow for a greater vision to replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. That's really cool. So you need to say expression is by either writing it, singing it. In case of Elvis, he sung it. Lisa Marie used to sing, and I think acting, which is what Riley does. She does acting. So, and I think Elvis did acting too. So there's forms of expression, but by speaking or doing public speaking, like what I'm doing with this platform, is a way of expression. And I also journal. I have a visual arts diary. So whenever I get an impression, or I have I astral travel, or I have a psychic dream. These aren't like your typical dreams. These are full-on 2-hour movies where you want to try and get out of it, you can't because you're trapped in the movie, so to speak. That's an actual vision, so I have to write it down. Sometimes I draw it, sometimes I don't. I got hair the other night, which is funny how I picked up the card that was the wheel, which is all about spinning hair into gold, right? Hair represents transformation and luck. So if you're going to take a lotto ticket out, do it this week. In next year at least. Okay. And then I dreamt about my grandmother's house, and I'm walking around it. I've done real estate. I've come from a traumatic, I've got PTSD, traumatic background. So when I feel unsure, I look at the map of the building. When you go into a building, you've got the evacuation sheet of how to get out. I'm always looking for the exit sign, so I know how to get out, to escape. That's me. So I have a Pisces placement in my chart. It's funny because I remember back in the day when I was in the 90s, I was attracted to this particular perfume called Escape by Calvin Klein. Now, Escape is actually a water sign place. Well, they used to talk about the Cosmopolitan. I remember reading someone. I used to read Cosmo all the time. That Escape was good for water signs, and I kind of go, yeah, that's me. I'm always looking to escape a situation where I don't feel safe. So then we've got Follow Me by Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle, Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Selena Fennick. I was attracted to this because of the beautiful artwork. I love to draw, and I love to journal, and I love to write. I like to write things as well. And I like to sing, so I'm kind of very expressive. But not where I can live at the moment. I can't do that because there's too many people and the walls are very thin. Okay, so then we've got Come. This is your invitation to enter the realm of the fairy. Fairy connections, second sight, being fairy touched, experiencing rapid opening to the subtle worlds, the veils between the worlds dissolve and you can see clearly. Increase in your gift, healing powers increase. Belief creates reality. Knowing creates truth. Egoic doubts and cynical thoughts melt away and all is magical and true. Seeing the path you can know, follow. Connecting with your wild self, an urge to be in nature, to be with flowers, trees, fruits, plants and stones. Shy of people who are harsh and unmagical. A realization that there is no separation, only a refusal to believe creates inability to see. And then we've got 11, Barnabas and the Prince, which to me represents the prince, but he's the prince as he is the Virgo, Taurus. He's Prince Harry. Yep, that's Barnabas and the Prince. And he travelled over to a different country, so that makes sense. 11, and he's got air in his chart, so he's a Virgo with a strong placement in Aquarius. So this is probably why I'm picking up on Earth as well, because he does have the Aquarian placement, which I think he's more Aquarian than he is Virgo. He's extremely impulsive, and he's very analytical, and I get the sense that he won't suffer fools gladly. I do see that with him. He will cut you down, and he's very strategic, and he's really good at his job as far as in war, as in if they had to send him into war, he would do a really good job, because he can be quiet, he can cut people off at the quick. I get that he can be very discerning. He's very much like his uncle Andrew. Andrew's an Aquarian. That's why they would get on really well. So 11. And he does look up to him. I know they get on well. I've been reading it. I read about them, the royalty all the time. A dream, a vocation, success, or purposeful activity is reaching out for you, just as you have reached out for it. Use the power of your voice to call out for it. Let the world and the natural world know that you wish for them to deliver. Seeking out a mate, actively searching for a soulmate, searching for you. Synchronicity. In order for you to be in alignment with your dream, for your dream to dream you must be walking the right path and be in the right place at the right time. So this card reminds you that staying in your present comfort zone will not bring out that which is in your heart you yearn for. You must become active and create. It also reminds you that travel and adventure can bring about soul growth that will let your song grow stronger. Yeah, so you need to travel. And he has been travelling a lot. I've noticed he's been doing a lot of, not UNICEF, what is it? The Invictus Games, and he's been doing lots of travelling around the world. Have no fear, the drought will be broken, but you must be an adventurer. Your tears will cleanse the way. You will change several times throughout this lifetime, reincarnating within the one life. You do not need to die to go home or be with the one you love. What kind of transportation do you use? It may be time to get a rethink. Some of you, Aquarians, may be looking at buying a car or selling a car or getting a new car. It says that this won't happen except until 1 year's time. So if you want to sell it, not happening. It's not going to happen for another year. People are broke. They're trying to sell off stuff. They're not trying to buy stuff. It's a buyer's market. It's not a seller's market. Just remember that. And that's all I have for you today for air signs.